Today, you're coming with me to see what a real day as a financial advisor looks like. 2 meetings, a trip to Woodbridge and to Ipswich, plenty of coffee, and a deep dive into how I help my clients plan their futures and look after their money. First up, we're going to Woodbridge. Let's go.
So we are having a bit of a change up today. We're going to do a sort of day in the life of what a financial advisor does. I've just been to the office and picked up the analysis of the two clients I'm going to see today. Two different scenarios today. One, a client who's looking to approach retirement, wants to run through his options, and the other one who is looking more at legacy planning and inheritance planning as well. So we'll see how these two. But first, we must have coffee. Meeting number one has been done, and a really interesting meeting actually. Covered off some really interesting stuff. We're just in Woodbridge at the moment, a beautiful place. All looking pretty great today. When it comes to speaking to our clients on a yearly basis, we're trying to make sure that what we are doing for our clients is still relevant, that the objectives that we're trying to reach are still the same. As people get older and their circumstances change, family situations change, retiring, approaching older age, they just have different expectations, different objectives that they're trying to do. Some people, it might be making sure they've got enough money for care fees or something similar. Some people will be gifting children, just making sure that we're covering all of the bases. Today's conversation was a really interesting one because it's quite clear that after going through their client situation and making sure that they're enjoying their life, which is the primary goal, that actually they had a significant inheritance tax liability. Now, not everybody cares if they have an IHT liability. Some people are quite happy to pay because it's not going to be them who pays it, it'll be the sort of beneficiaries or the children. And some people are very unwilling to pay inheritance tax because they pay tax on every single thing throughout their whole life. And now they don't want to pay anymore. It's entirely their prerogative. It's not down to me. I just make them aware of the facts. When an IHT liability is present, there's a few different things we can do. But fundamentally, we need to start either spending money or looking at the various options where you can keep access to your money or create an income or just purely gift it to the beneficiaries. Either way, ideally, we want to reduce it down and minimize the amount that's going to be in their estate upon the second death. So actually going to see clients is literally the best part of my job. You never really know where the conversation is going to go unless the client really well. Today, really nice gentleman plays golf locally at some of the same golf courses that I've played at. So share a few conversations on that. He's been on holiday. His whole life at the moment is planning holidays for his children, his grandchildren, and just trying to enjoy his later years. And he's definitely doing that. It was nice to be in a nice, warm, beautiful house. We are leaving Woodbridge and heading to Ipswich. An interesting client nonetheless.
One hour later.
Meeting number two done. Really good meeting. My favorite type of client at the moment. And that is because we're really delving into his financial planning and trying to work out whether he's got enough money to retire, to have the lifestyle and retirement that he wants to. He's 58, potentially could be working for another 5-6 years. But I think today we went through enough scenarios to give him the reassurance that actually he could retire tomorrow if he wanted to. So it's just really fascinating to go through all those different scenarios. He worked for a big telecom company, so he's got a couple of different pension options. He's got some sort of workplace style pensions, but also some defined benefit final salary pensions. He's got some rental properties and some other bits and pieces, but generally the outlook is pretty good for him. And it's actually now trying to work out, what does he want to achieve? What does he see his retirement looking like? We also spend a bit of time having a chat with his wife, which we haven't done previously. So it's all been kind of financial planning solo so far, but his wife has some sort of local government pensions as well. So that adds to the mix. So it's really interesting to actually just have a chat to them, find out what they think retirement looks like, which is definitely the most fun part of the job, really. Again, really nice fella. He plays a bit of golf as well, which is always nice to have a bit of common ground. But also been dealing with him for 2 or 3 years now. Just a really interesting man. And it's just good to give somebody peace of mind and a bit of clarity. Each meeting today was basically what we call an annual review. An annual review is updating all of our details that we hold on a client, their income and expenditure, assets, liabilities, levels of protection, insurances, etc. Making sure that they've got the wills and powers of attorneys, making sure that's all relevant, because it could have been 3 or 4 months since I last spoke to a client. If there's been any change of circumstances, all of that is the kind of basics of what we do. What's most important, probably the most important part, is actually understanding them, getting to know them, getting to know what's important to them, whether it is plans for themselves, their retirement plans, or plans for their family, whatever that is. The financial side is really important, but actually everybody's financial objectives are completely different. So some people will have a real passion about minimizing their tax liabilities or maximizing their growth. And it's always coming back to why. Why are we doing this? Why is this important? What is important? And that's what makes a big difference. Again, the first client today was probably about £2.5 to £3 million worth of net worth, potential significant inheritance tax liability. Second client, probably about £1 million worth. Look at life planning, retirement planning, all those other bits and pieces. But the process remains the same. Make sure we've got all the basics in place. Make sure we're covering everything that we need to do in terms of the foundational points and all of their levels of income, expenditure, making sure they've got the right amount of cash levels, going through what life costs for them, but actually working out what's important to them. That's the most important part. And it's the exact same process that we go through when I was speaking to a client who's 30 or even client 42. It doesn't really matter. The process is the same. So we've got all these notes. I'll go back to the office, write all these notes up, updates everything on our systems, and then we'll send out reports with various bits of information to the clients, making sure they've got up-to-date data. But also if there's been any recommendations or anything that I've suggested, then we'll include those as well. Then follow up with a phone call once they've gone out, either I go up by email or post, and just make sure that they've understood everything that's going through and why we're doing it and what's important, and just making sure that our clients are kept completely up to date with everything they need to know. Then once all those notes are written up, uploaded, send all the notes through to our admin people, then we will start the planning for tomorrow's meeting. So I've got a couple more meetings tomorrow, making sure that we're well aware of what's happening with those clients, what their current situation is, what their investments are, and what their life situation is. So that when we go to speak to them tomorrow, we have a good understanding of what position they were in, and for trying to find out whether that situation has changed or not.